And then when you are looking at education, education has to do with that all-round development that an individual has. So, for instance, someone can go to school and still not be educated.
This is the Stereosis.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Stereosis. Today, I have a guest, an educational psychologist, and we'll be launching a new series about education. Now, you're welcome. Edge Ezinna, if I'm very correct.
You are. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah.
Chooks.
Let's move straight to what we have today. And if you've been in Nigeria, unless you are not speaking the truth, you may have known that if you've gone through educational system, especially the higher institution or college of education, polytechnic and universities, are not delivering. I'm not just saying you should not go to school, but just follow us. And a lot of us, like above 90% of us, will feel like this thing is not working. Like a lot of people, they are totally disappointed. Their graduates thing is not working. They went to school. Even some people with masters, some people with PhDs, still jobless. So there's something wrong with this system. And that's why we actually want to explore today. Now, my first question is, why should somebody actually go to school first? Or what is the purpose of education?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Chooks.
Okay.
First of all, we need to clear something here.
Okay.
Number one, there is a difference between schooling and there is a difference between education. Because you said something, why should someone go to school and why does someone need education?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the reason for it? Like, Masmuro said, when purpose of 18 is not known, abuse is unavoidable. So I want to understand, because once we understand why we must be in school, you understand, then people can actually begin to solve the problem. Because somebody gets to school, Nigeria is very complicated that most people don't even get the course they are looking for. So it adds to the complication. But a lot of guys are confused in school. What am I doing?
Now, first of all, we need to understand what school is. And then we equally need to understand what education is. Because these are two different things. And you will discover that a student or many people, including people that are graduates, they find it hard drawing that difference. Now, when you are talking about school, you are talking about a formal system that have been set up where students can come and after a fixed duration of passing through things like assignments, quizzes, and exams, and they can be certified and awarded different degrees based on what they read or based on the choice they made in the process of gaining admission.
Okay.
Now, when you are looking at education has to do with that all-round development that an individual has. So, for instance, someone can go to school and still not be educated.
Yeah, that's a very strong one.
Someone can go to school just
uneducated graduates.
Sure.
How is that possible?
It's possible because most people enter the system to get certificates. And that's why when you are looking at certain people, it's just like when you started, you say something that there are people that have masters and people that have PhDs that do not have jobs.
Yeah.
Now, believe you me, they just went to school, but they never got educated.
You mean any person that is educated should be able to use the knowledge he got in the school?
Exactly. Because what education does to the mind of an individual is this. One, education makes sure you think differently from the rest. Education conforms you to certain standards, and education opens your eyes to certain things that on a normal basis you wouldn't have known or you wouldn't have been able to see. So that's why most people can be in light and still they can't see.
In light and they can't see. How is that possible?
For instance, someone in a school, someone that goes to school or someone that is in school might be in school, and still the education the individual needs is still not coming through.
That means at that part, this what you're saying now is from the school system. Like the guy was not properly trained. Because if majority of guys like in Nigeria, problem is they go to school and they are confused. Some people are even better at home. Like in terms of like you said, education now, all around. Some people were behaving well, they went to school and came back as beasts.
Exactly. That's why I said going to school is different. And
From
then
getting
getting
education.
educated is different. These are two things. You can still go to school and still be an illiterate. You can still go to school and still not be educated. You can still go to school and still come out the same way you were, the same way you went into school. The only difference would just be the acquisition of a certificate as evidence to show that you really went to school.
Okay. Yeah. Now, so you are seeing it. So the problem is actually on the side of the students themselves who went to school without actually acquiring education. That's what you're saying.
Now it's on the part of the students, and then it's still on the part of the system, because the system has this job to guide the students. The system has this job, and that's what the students are paying for. So when a student goes to school, or when a student gets admission to go to school or to get schooled, the student is hoping that the system can get him or her educated. And then we have a faulty system that makes it impossible for most students to get educated.
In Nigeria, right?
Yes.
I think let me just paint a scenario for you. Like you find out that most young people now are in school. Maybe somebody will be listening to me and you can relate with this. The guy is in school or the girl is in school, and he feels like, come on, what am I doing here? Like most questions that almost every other person will ask, what's how can I connect this dot in the future? Like what am I doing in this particular place? How is this going to help my life? So maybe in school self, and what they're thinking about doing does not is not close to what they are studying in school. And whenever you are doing something that you don't see how you can use this, it's always very depressing for the person to push forward.
Sure.
So some of them go into drugs, some go into other things. Now, if you are that particular person in school now, and the guy is in school confused, maybe in second year or third year, and he looks at his life, it's very depressing when you are in a system you don't like. You don't even know what you are doing. So trying to figure out things. Now, what advice do you have for such kind of person? Is it that he got into a wrong system? Is that he's a victim of a system? Or what? Is it his own problem? What should the person do?
Now, first of all, the person should ask himself this pertinent question: why am I here? What am I doing here? How did I get in here? Now let me repeat. Why am I here? These are the questions the individual should ask himself. Why am I here? What am I doing here? And how did I get here? Now, if you can prefer answers to these three questions, for instance, why am I here? Am I here to just get a certificate? Beyond that, I'm here to get educated.
Okay.
How did I get in here? What were the means that brought me in here? Did my parents pay for me to get in here? Did someone write jam for me? How did I get in here? Did I force myself into this particular system? Or did I enter this system because I was duly qualified for this system? And then what am I doing here? What am I doing here is this. You now ask yourself, in this particular course or in this program, what am I taking out from it? Or what will I take out from it? At the end of the day, these are the key things that will guide that individual in order to know whether you are meant to make a total U-turn.
Because some people actually need to make U-turn for their life to be meaningful.
Exactly. You need to.
Because I don't see the reason why somebody spends all those precious time in school. But what's going on now is that people leave school and they need to be retrained. Somebody spends a whole lot of time from ASU strike and all those things. When the person is done for like 5-6 years in school, so even imagine somebody when you are done at the age of 25, 24, 26, you go back to learning, go back to like maybe fashion school. next 2 years before you go into the craft again. So it's like, why shouldn't guys go to a fashion school earlier on than go through the system?
Now, this brings you just say something that needs to be looked at before a student gains admission.
Okay, that's very
Now, I feel that apart from writing JAMB and WAEC and every other thing, there should be an evaluative system for students before they are given an admission. Now, in as much as you scored a certain percentage and all, JAMB, the basis of your admission or your intake should not just be on the scores. There should be an evaluative system that looks at you holistically and assesses you. You know, when I say something, how did you get it here? So it should be the job of the assessors to look at this guy and see, okay, this guy got so and so great for medicine, and on merit, this guy should go in. But we have assessed this guy and we have seen that this guy does not have the passion for medicine.
How the assessment should be like assessing the gifts and talents of the person
Exactly.
before
Now,
the person gets into the school.
exactly.
Who
Now,
does that?
now
It's not working in Nigeria now.
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe the parents.
If we do it that way, you will see we will have a system that works. Now, when I say a system that works, a student will go to school and get educated.
Okay, because the system tries to take advantage of the gifts and talents of the person at that particular time.
Beautiful.
Because from what you explain now is that from the secondary school, this guy should have been categorized.
Beautiful.
This guy
And
is
if
this.
it was not done then, no cause for alarm. It can still be done before the guy is given admission. Now you reposition the guy once again.
Especially in the first day, the counselors and all those
Yes,
ones.
the guy should still be on that correctional course. For instance, there are people. We had a discussion recently about Chinua Achebe, how he
Yes.
switched from medicine
To
to English literature.
Yeah.
So a student should be given that opportunity. In fact, it should be the right of every student to be evaluated. In as much as you qualified for medicine based on merit, but you still need to be evaluated, not to deny you that admission, but for your own good.
I'm just imagining if, like what you talk about Chinua Achebe now, he got into the system and found out that this is what I want for my life, and he switched over. The same way, if change of course and other things were very easy for students also, within that first 1 year or 2 years in school, the change of course should be something that is they are still free to go to any department they want to go to.
Sure.
But when they find out that this is not where
Sure.
I'm supposed to be,
Sure, but
those things it's very hard. You
but
can lose your admission
it's extremely difficult.
in Nigeria and they
Yes,
give you some level.
yes, they will tell you enter the system. You want to study medicine, start with anatomy first. At the end of the day, after a year, you can now switch to medicine and then start from year one. That kind of thing. At the end of the day, when you enter anatomy, you discover that you need to read anatomy from year one to the final level.
Yeah.
Graduate, then get another jam form and start medicine afresh.
You go for direct entry. So this talent discovery and management is actually the biggest problem. School should be the role of the school. It's actually to take advantage of this guy's gifts and talents. It's not because if a footballer at the age of 2 or 3, they're already in football academy. You understand? And somebody gets to school, because I believe if somebody is at the center of his strength, you will find school fun.
Sure,
If a music producer is in school studying music,
sure.
and those things he's studying are related to the things he wants to do, that's another thing, because that will take us to the curriculum. I have one example of my cousin's friend. He's in Nigeria, he's studying in UK.
Okay.
And he chose music engineering, they call it in UK. He wants to come down to Nigeria. We have a thriving industry in that aspect in Nigeria. And he wanted to study that and get back into music management and all this kind of management talent. And this guy got into this course and it wasn't what he actually bargained for. Because he was busy doing maths and all this kind of thing. This guy went to computer science. Final year he left. Because actually, when he saw the music engineering, he thought it's a combination of other kind of how you be producing music and all those kind of things.
Exactly.
That is why he went into it. And he knew what he wanted. So he struggled from the first stage to understand, okay, let me give this some time, maybe they will change. From there to 300 level. So he called my course one day, like he's leaving this stuff. So he went for his second passion, which is computer science. And that's like computer science in the first year.
Now, have you seen the need of evaluation?
Yeah.
Had it been that student was evaluated,
Properly.
he would have known that this is a different course from what he had in mind.
Yes.
Now, for instance, it's just like a fish. A fish does not struggle to swim.
Swim, yes.
So a fish is doing what he likes, what he enjoys. But you cannot put a fish in the forest now and tell the fish, oh yeah, start running like other animals.
Animals, climbing trees and all this kind of.
But when a fish is in its natural habitat, it does not think, oh, how do I flap my fins, my tails for me to swim and all. No, it comes to him natural. So when you evaluate these students and then you know their gifts, you know their strengths, you know their weaknesses, and then you can now channel them into a particular area of gifting, they will do exceptionally
Okay,
well.
let's go to, like, in Nigeria, we can be saying this because we all understand the system. I don't think, did I say a counselor in school? Okay. My proprietor's wife used to be a counselor, I say professional and counselor in UNN. So that's the only counselor I saw when I was in secondary school. Do you have that kind of school counselor that we can talk about career studies or career choice and all those things? I know it's like that in most public schools. Even in high institution, I think we had was it faculty or dean stuff they call it, student affairs advisor. These guys, I've not seen any person going there because let's when you have another lot of carry over and they need to advise you on how you can drop some. That's the only thing I see students going there for.
Now you've said it all. These are the duties of these people,
But they're not doing it.
but they are not doing it.
So how can we? What advice can we give to a young guy now who is struggling in school, and this guy knows that this is not what I'm carved out for, but he's here, struggling, like you said now, a fish inside for trying to climb tree. What can the guy do? But this is very important to the society, very important to the individual, because that may be a star in making, that may be a DJ in the making. So maybe one of the best music producer in life. But the guy is there studying chemistry. It's not that chemistry is bad, but no Nigerian and he couldn't get what he wanted to study. Maybe he wanted to study engineering and then he ends up studying chemistry or zoology.
I think majority of Nigerians, including the graduates, they had the same experience.
Yeah.
They wanted to study a different course. JAM gave them a different course. And in the spirit of perseverance, they persevered and got a certificate that they are not happy with.
Very useless.
You can imagine.
To a lot of them.
Now, in such a scenario where you are torn apart, you don't know if you should continue with this particular course. You don't know if you should continue on this course. Do I quit medicine? Do I quit engineering? Now, my advice is very simple. All I would say is this: when you have two conflicting ideas in mind and you're already in one, now do not leave the other one entirely. See a way you can check whether you are suited for the other one, maybe by going for internship. And thank God for the global world we have it. You can go for internship online, check for internships. There are so many firms taking interns. Now check if this is exactly what you want. If it is, let go of the other one. Let go of the other one, because believe you me, if you really go for what you want,
yes, life,
it will be seamless.
Life will be seamless. Like you said, even off camera, I told you what Elon Musk said, that when you love what you do, you don't actually work. Work becomes normal.
Sure.
To you, but when you don't like what you are doing, you cannot even get to the top of.
It's just like, have you ever seen someone that is drinking, someone that loves to drink, and the person is drinking, and to him drink is a job? It's not a job, it's an enjoyment. Waiter, bring more beers. You get?
It's just a natural thing that flows to the person, and the creativity and what is required to make it in life will be easier for you when you love what you're doing.
Sure.
Life is not easy. Life is very hard. Very, very hard.
Sure.
Nobody lie to you that is so it's easier when you are facing this monster of a life that you know that is very, very hard and you love what you're doing. And that's why you see like all these guys singing, some of them have been singing for like 10 good years and you continue singing.
Yep.
And one day they interview him and say, how long have you been singing? You guys say like 10 years.
You know, when you don't love what you are doing or whatever it is you are working on, see, most times you get to a point where you will contemplate giving up.
Yes.
Apart from giving up, most times you get to a point where the only thing on your mind will be suicide to end it all.
Yeah, because life, the emptiness is much.
And the problem is this, I would want to advise anybody that is listening to us now. My advice to them is this: please always know that at any point in time in your life that you discover that this is not what you are meant to do, instead of killing yourself feeling you have wasted all the years, there is still room for a reversal.
Yeah.
There is still room for a reversal. It might be difficult to go back and start from the beginning, but there is still room for a reversal. So instead of being frustrated and depressed to the extent of contemplating suicide or even attempting suicide, no, go back,